Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the Canyon. Welcome back to another Quickview. This is a Quickview that I feel like closes a circle because in the JConcepts offering, the Tusk, so far as I know, the Tusk is the only one that they do all of them. The Bounty Hunter, oddly, only exists in 3.93. Some tires only exist in 1.9, or they have a big 2.2 version. The JConcepts Tusk occurs in, I think I have it right, 1.0, 1.3, 1.9, and in 1.9 you can get it in 393, 419, and 475. It then has 2.2 LP, 5 1/4 inch, 2.2 the big one, 5 3/4, and then it is also available in 2.9 for the SCX6. So it's the only tire that I can think of that occurs in pretty much every size. You can get a Tusk for your 24th scale. You can also get a Tusk for your 6th scale. And I don't know, maybe the Hyrax from Proline also does that. We're mounting them up on our usual, the Canyon favorite, fake 105s, because we have a great deal of them. This is JConcepts Green. So while in many instances bubble juice, and bubble juice is exactly what bubble juice sounds like, it is the stuff that you blow bubbles with. This has so much mold release and stuff rubbed on it from being put into a dauber bottle and used like, okay, so I have 2 bottles. I've shown this before. You can see the other one just in the corner of the frame over there. This is the first mount bottle. So even it has a little bit of a cloud to it. Let us compare that to a bottle that has never been used. So there's a bunch of mold release in there. You might be able to blow a bubble with that. You're not blowing a bubble with this. And then we have the tires that have been previously mounted or are being mounted again. Tires are gross. Tires are super gross. So JConcepts Green is not 100% bubble juice mandatory. It just makes it a lot easier. To anyone who might be thinking to themselves, bro, I've been mounting tires forever and I've never used anything for it. That's true. If I was mounting a set of tires a week or around that, I would think exactly the same thing. But just out of frame, just above frame right there. The rack is a little lighter right now as we've been fitting tires to rigs over the past couple days. Tires move around, tires come in, tires go out. So there's only about 30 sets of tires right up there. Behind me, immediately behind me, there is an orange case. And inside that orange case are 2 drawers full of beadlocks that are currently not fitted to tires in use. And then if you consider the 40 plus sets of tires that are in use and fitted to vehicles, in a week where I'm doing things like testing tires, I will dismount and mount 10 to 12 sets per week. I would say that the conservative estimate, the very conservative estimate, is I will mount and unmount 350 sets of tires a year in that neighborhood. So whatever I can do, if bubble juice saved me 1 minute per set, it would save 6 hours over the course of the year. So these were all stuck together. They were doing the green thing. Oh yeah. Get a little of this, a little of the, can we get the JConcepts ASMR? We'll get a little. Sticky green. So, and now I'm questioning everything. Okay. We gotta make sure. Okay. Left and a right. 2 rights. All right. We're going to get those put on a vehicle. You saw me, without mention, insert the included JConcepts medium foam into this, and I would actually call these a medium soft Compared to the foam that comes in a 475, they're a little softer than that. And we are running with that foam 107. Yeah, they're 419s by 41. We are running that foam because our test stout for Class 1 stuff is Wiley. Wiley is a Charisma SCA1E Coyote. He is largely stock, except for shocks. We keep trying to find a shock combo that is cooperative. But he's stock link, stock axle, stock gearbox, stock all of that stuff. And why is this relevant? Because without his wheel and his day-to-day wheel and tire combo, which are Duratrax pivots on dual stage inserts on these Hot Storm wheels, which are heavy. Without them, he weighs 1,600 grams. He's basically just over 3.5 pounds. So he's very light. You put on something like a kilo of wheelos, and his day-to-day wheel and tire combo is very close to a kilo of wheelos. You put those on him, and he's like 40% unsprung weight. He looks good in anything. The stout body looks good in anything. So he's our guy. He's still a little bit of a work in progress. And what he is not well suited to is testing real, air quotes on that, real Class 1 stuff. And by that, I mean, you got a hard body on it, you got leaf springs on it, you have all those things. A Trail Finder is going to outweigh this guy. He runs very soft springs because he's kind of got rear end still kind of. He's sitting pretty good. The Charisma axle. This is the stock body from the Coyote. For whatever reason, there's not a lot of tuck, and it's stuck with hex and everything. I've been thinking of trying to get the hexes narrowed down to pull the wheels in a little more, but he's a Stabilitrack kind of boy, so he's very light. So even the stock foam may behave a little stiff. For him, he needs a very soft foam. And we do not have a day-to-day test set of foams for Class 1s. I think in our history we've tested, I don't think it's into double digits for Class 1 tires here. We don't test. Look, this isn't a Class 1 joint. We've done landmines. The Vanimal, which is another Charisma platform, is fitted with Class 1 landmines. I've got a set of Bounty Hunters in service. The 393 Hot Bodies Rovers are on a rig, but we do not have a lot. It's like 5 vehicles on Class 1s. So we don't have a dedicated set of rims nor a dedicated set of test inserts. Now that may change very soon on the insert front, but the rims, I mean, it might just end. These might be the guys that he runs on. That way they'll last a little longer. We don't test the small tires super often. So we are going to take them out to the rocks. We're going to run through the Canyon Tire Test Protocol 10 stations, evaluating every aspect of the tire. And if you look at the leaderboards available on the spreadsheet that you can find on the community board, you will note that the JConcepts Tusks that have scores so far are the LP, the 2.2, and the 1.9. I've already forgotten the 393 score because it was tested before the current scoring methods. They're kind of all over the place. The high of a 98, and I think the 2.2 is the lowest. The 2.2 non-LP. The 2.2 LP is the highest scored, followed by the 1.9 475 tire. And then the 2.2 is way down, and that was because I think a combination of the vehicle it was tested on and those big, tall 2.2s really need some sort of specialty insert for them. I would prefer that a tire can just accept some sort of normal off-the-shelf insert, that you don't have to get something special or exotic, which is why for this test we'll be running these foams and hoping that they are soft enough. Rock test, JConcepts Class 1 Tusk. We all kind of figure somewhere in that top 10 area, right? We have the limitations of the platform, etc., etc. All right. Let us go together and see how we do. Add another Tusk to the leaderboard, everybody, because that's really quite likely what is going to happen. And welcome out to where the rocks are. Currently on the course, it is about 66 degrees in the friendly freedom units, about 50% relative humidity, not a single cloud in the sky, and every bird in the universe within a 100-yard radius. It seems impossible, but it's happening. We have a soft breeze blowing in from the southwest, southwest, and one might say, I might say west-southwest. The tire is the aforementioned JConcepts green, which is not sticky. It is sticky, icky, ooh-wee. Right here, I am consistently driving my rear pumpkin into a rock. It's right there. See that little duo of rocks there to the left of the bean? I am hanging up on that because my normal line is a determinedly class 2 line. And yeah, even these medium soft foams, right there, bang. How soft do I have to get this guy to work? Because we would be able to forget what kind of tire we have. There's a lot of grip. We're getting very low lug noise. But I cannot get any purchase at all. He is like right there. It's just a straight mechanical. I can't, you know what I can't do? I can't go on like this. So something might just be about to happen here. Slick rock will be the decider. And you may be here and may get to witness in person Wiley get fired. Basically fired from his job. He's got a day job, and his day job was to take some of the weight off of Baseline's shoulders, because Baseline has to test everything 475 and smaller. So we were trying to get a class 1 guy in there to test class 1 tires. Wiley, you're fired. Wiley is fired, everybody. Baseline, I wish that there was some amount of additional pay that you could be given, because now you're the guy again. You're testing 393s and 419s and 475s and 465s and 455s and anything basically with a 4 in the first digit. The 419 on this body looks a little too stock truck to me. It looks like he's designed not to go off-road. But it is a Tusk, which is a Baja Pro XS. It is in the sticky, icky, ooh-wee green compound. The positionability is going to be there. The maneuverability is going to be there. What is the magic that is inside the Enduro Sendero SE? I don't know. What I do know is that, I mean, we have to think, like, do I think of this in class 1 numbers? Do I think of this just purely in terms of, we go at the bean right here. So, you know, it's not a 98 because it's shorter, but it is like a 97, 98 in terms of grip. So it's a 97. So I'm going to be progressing through this, feeling that on some level the conclusions are foregone, as the lower score by the big 2.2 was, I think, due to the vehicle that it was tested on, and they kind of folded a bit. This tire is the 475 Tusk, but shorter. The amount of maneuverability that it gives you in 419. Good gravy. This is going to be like, are we going to hang at all? No. In 419, this tire is going to be remarkably difficult to beat. The maneuverability. But what, again, my brain doesn't work in class 1. Class 1 dudes are like shaking their devices like, no, not there. And I go at it like there's class 2s under it. But in terms of the drive, yeah, it's JConcepts Green. It's every bit as good as the LP. It's every bit as good as the class 2. We're you know, I don't want to say that this tire is just going to pull a 97, but I wrote a 97 down, and I will mention a score again if and when we don't get another 97. I constantly feel like the 575 Tusk needs to be revisited, but then I'm like, I only have one vehicle that they even fit on. See if we get an over squish here. I can stay into that. Here is the advantage of that short tire with that short sidewall. You can reposition so late into your attempt. Look what a class 2 doesn't make that. It doesn't finish that because it can't. That a little additional amount of sidewall will collapse all the crossweight. That, where baseline is sitting right now, easily 80% of his total weight is being funneled into the driver rear tire. The passenger side tires basically aren't doing anything. And it doesn't move. Yeah, honestly, yeah. Again, I'm not going to talk about the score unless the score is different. Just almost rolled my ankle transitioning between setups, and I'll tell you this. If I'm carrying cameras, I will land on my ankles, wrists, head, neck, and face before I drop the cameras. If I was carrying a rig at the time, I would just toss the rig to the side and body roll. Oh man, these are good. I on the one hand, I get it. All right, I get the lower tire. There are advantages, and your drawbacks are 10 millimeters less ground clearance. I feel right now I want to go back into my building and just build a portal rig specifically to run on class 1s. Because then you get the pumpkin clearance via the portals. I'm also part of a self-started movement against just automatically fitting 475s to portal rigs. God, there's so much grip in this tire. And yeah, do I feel the limitation of being a little bit belly lower? Yeah, I mean, a little. Like right here. But they give it back in stability. This is a JConcepts Green extravaganza right here because I have fairly recent experience in memory of the 525s, the 475s, and the 419s. They all have the same total available grip. The sliders just move around. I talk about the relationship between the insert and the tire. Where baseline sits in that like low 5s range for weight, it might be perfect on those included foams. It might be perfect. I cannot imagine changing the insert and getting exponentially better. Like it might get a little better. Your side hill might be a little more, but his side hill is so predictable right now that I can't see a drastic improvement of it. It's just all around good. The 419 Tusk is the first tire that I have tested that I would be tempted to give a 99 to. I think that there's something that this tire does. The side of the beast over there, the front side, the sunny side of the beast, that was just about as good as you can get. But to me, I don't believe in 100. I don't think you can get a 100 score because that implies nothing can be better. And then after I say, while I'm trying to complete the thought about I would give it a 99, you are mired into the limitation of the 419. We got a tire hanging. We've got driver rear not really capable of doing anything because we've got passenger slider just absolutely hooked. So this is a difficult tire evaluation to move through, as when we stop, it's not the tire. The tire has way more than enough drive. It's the fact that I'm shoving sliders and bumpers and everything else into stuff that ordinarily I wouldn't. And belly, come back around here. Stability is increased. Forward drive is as good, if not better, than the 525 and the 475. For vehicles that can only fit a tire up to a certain size, it's Bounty Hunters or 393 Tusks, honestly. The 393 Hot Bodies Rover looks like a beach ball, so I can get why they're not as popular, but right there, that's front pumpkin. There we go. Get it over. Get that right there. A little more. A little more. There we go. Cut it back. Gonna have to try to bump the belly over because we're just too low. I lack sufficient experience. There we go. On these lines, even on the protocol lines, to know exactly where to put the wheels. This tire setup, the stock foam with the 419, it will do it. It will do all of the things. You just have to not engage your hard parts with the hard parts of the ground. Look at the pivot around this. I'm just gonna stay into it. Look at that rear end, like 50-degree angle. 475's gone already. It's tipped out. It will not pull that back. Will it pull it back enough not to hit the outside ball? We got a little half spin there. And now I'm gonna cut back this way a little, and then I'm gonna begin the steer angle again. Little slider in. I get it. It's technical. It's more technical. I'm more of a blunt object than a finesser. You gotta finesse these a little more. So the tire, honestly, this, compared to the 525, which got a 98, I feel like this has to be a little better. Like the Tusk itself, the Tusk pattern and shape are even a little better when they're smaller because they let you get out of dumb situations better. Despite the incredible lack of clearance. I think the most noticeable thing, I don't know if it's the most notable, but the most noticeable thing isn't the clearance, it's the wheel speed. You're just slower. Like these are smaller. It's a smaller circle, so they go slower. Get the pumpkin over, cut back this way. We'll pull that cut on soft side or south side or whatever we're calling it on Daphne's third there. That's maybe as good as any tire has ever done it. There's a crag. It drops over that crag right there. So right there, it's right above the point of his hood, right there. That will hook you. and it will try to spin you. And we have a tire that is shorter. So let me try to get past the hook, and I'll try to maneuver it back this way. Now I stand by it and I double down on it. That might be the best I've ever seen a tire do at that. Like, I would go, if we were giving half points, I would give a half a point. Like, down at the bottom, I would write note, half a point. And at the end, instead of this guy getting a 97, I would give it a 97.5. But it's a green Tusk. Yeah, I'm getting deep in the weeds here, guys. The forward drive is to the point where what I do is I line up, and then I do this right here. See, mechanical. I'm gonna have to give it a little right there. If there's not a part of plastic hitting a rock, you go. The overhang over here is about half of a wheelbase. Get the slider over it, Class 1, man. That bump is like, this is how I set up go fast things. Okay, now we deliberately, can we donkey this at all? Little tiny bit. I'm basically, when I do these right here, I'm getting to like 85, 90% throttle. Because we have so much forward drive, I'm just like it would be a bump above 97. It would. There's a certain select part of me that is, I think, already determined that this tire and the 475 are going to get the same score. They're identical tires in different sizes. I can't. And I mean, sidewall support. Yeah. Pow. Bam. That was the softest bump I've ever seen. Oh. If you're running big reverse, you would give this tire a 100. You would give it a 10.0 for self-right. Let's go ahead and try the forward cyclone. Oh, I got too hesitant. Now we're just goofing around. It's a 97 self-right easily. And you saw me hit the sign. I rolled that. He was going to save it. It's a beautiful day. We're not. Stability. We're not going to get anything in the tires. You are sacrificing one single thing when you go from a 475 or say your fitment is only a 419. Clearance. That's it. It has every bit the drive, stability, positionability, low speed control. It has everything. It is all that is Tusk. It's just shorter. So you can't be as much of a goon. But the stability is just stupid how much higher it is, even compared to a 475. And I think this is why, in my limited experience, admittedly, the 419 can get away. The insert can be far less specific because it's an LP. Look at it. Oh my God. How did it take me this long to get to this? So we have the 2.2 LP, 525. Then we have the regular 2.2, 575. We've got the regular class 2, 475. And we got the class 1, 419. It's the same thing. This is just, it's not class 1, it's a class 2 LP. That's all it is. What's our favorite of the Tusk group? 22 Tusk LP. If you can fit them, run them. They outstanding. If you can only fit a 419 tire on your vehicle, I'm sure regions and climates and everything else play a part, but my God, if you're rock crawling with them, I don't know if there's anything that beats that tire right there. I would give it, if I felt like objectively it was reasonable, I would give it a higher score than the Class 2. But that seems nuts because it's the same, it's the LP version, it's the same tire. Okay, spiritually, I would put this tire between the Class 2 and the 22 LP. So we might give it a 97.5. I don't know. I feel like we're judging figure skating now. So here it is. Bam! In your face. Here are my thoughts. I feel also like the wet is a foregone conclusion. If this has a substantial drop in traction on wet, I will be outright astonished. Because I had some time to think. I had to move stations. I had to turn on the water. It's upside down. It's upside down. It's upside down. Let that trickle down a little bit. It's not wet enough to pull anything up with the foams, really, so. It's just JConcepts green things. Did you notice any different from the run up and then that run up? No. Let's get the tires a little wet. We'll go midpoint and then back up. It's all the same. It's all the same. I talked myself into it. Well, you know what? Let's go ahead. Let's try hard side with the reposition because we have a tire that'll probably do it. You know, this is an instance where it means there's a different meaning behind it than what we're usually working with, but what are we even doing? In the terms of the JConcepts Tuskal varieties, having now tested the 393, the 419, the 475, the 525, and the 575, this may well be the best of them. Because while it sacrifices clearance, it sacrifices nothing else. Do I want to run out and convert all my rigs to Class 1? No. The part of me that is lizard/goon is too big. And I like it easy, where I can just plow. Just plow. We've got full fenders, full bumpers, sliders, we've got all the things, and it not only is it manageable, it is absolutely livable. It's remarkable how good it is. It really is. So, tapping into the data banks and remembering that the 22 LP scored a 98, a perfect for canyon purposes, 98 on yellow on stock foams, and the Class 2, the 475, has a 97. I would give this a 97.5. Honestly, I would put the overall capabilities, ignore the loss of clearance, because you have that shorter sidewall. This might be the best single performing tire on a stock single stage foam. And yes, the 2.2 scored higher on the same two single stage foam. But they also have so much clearance that it allows you to just absolute goon. So they got a half a point basically over these for goonability. The ability to get yourself into and out of as much trouble as you want to be involved in. These are just hyper capable, what is Class 1, but what I will now, at least in my head, be calling Class 2 LP. Because that's what it is. These are the Class 2 LPs. They are every bit as good as all of the other Tusks. And subjectively, they're probably the best because your fitment This tire will fit on more vehicles than all of the other Tusks. Period. The giant 7-inch 2.9 ones, those only fit on an SCX6. The 525s and the 575s, it's a short list of vehicles that you can put those on. Mine are on a Rift, a crawlerized Rift, and they don't look too big. They look to scale. They are almost 6 inches tall. So you're not fitting those on a lot of rigs. These look right at home on here. And in fact, look at the way the wheel arches sit over the top of the tire. These might fit better than the Class 2s. I like a 465 on here, but apparently, maybe I'm coming around. Maybe I'm coming around to 4.19. We will inevitably see more 419 and 393 rigs in the Canyon fleet just because we don't have very many. We have a couple, and we have to remember back, moment of silence. Wiley got fired today. Wiley got fired because baseline just does. We can focus on the tire and not worry about the rig. So I'm sorry, Wiley, you've been fired. I'm sorry, which I have to carry him back. I didn't bring out more tires for him. He's sitting over here without his wheels on. And baseline, you get to work more. 419 tests are your purview now as well. And he's like, you know, I work for a living. And we continue forward. There you go. The 525 has got the most fun in it. The 419 is probably overall the most capable because side hilling is just going to be better. My God, put a super soft 3D printed insert in there, or a 3D insert tailored to your Class 1 that has a hard body on it. You know where I'm going with this. And then the 475s fit on most stuff. They are the best of the 475 tires that have been tested so far. And these are, without question, the best 419 tires that we've tested so far. If the 419 Tusk isn't good at something, that something doesn't live here. They're as good as we've seen, and I don't even know what to do with them at the moment. But we gonna find out. Thank you so much, everybody. Thanks for dropping by for another quick view, another tire test, another one to add to the list. I'm kind of tires that predate the scoring system, landmines, deep woods, tires like that. I'm kind of just doing a little impromptu run-throughs, hitting the things and getting a score in my head, and then we're just gonna add those to the score list. That top 10 is crowded. That's a lot of crows in one tree. Almost a murder. We'll see you next time. Thanks for dropping by. In between now and when we meet again, please, one and all, do your very best to have a good one, everybody. We'll see you next time here from the Canyon. I knew they would be good, but in no situation did I see them being better. And by gum and by golly, they were better.